So picture this. It is like 6 o'clock in the morning,
Oh, early.
right? Your house is completely quiet. The rest of your family is sound asleep. But you are standing in your kitchen with a German Shorthaired Pointer puppy.
A recipe for disaster, honestly.
Yeah, and this puppy is already just wide awake, nose glued to the floor, and she's sliding across the linoleum, dragging one of your socks like she is on this vital top-secret mission.
I mean, that is the defining image of the breed's puppyhood, really. They just wake up ready to work.
Exactly. And the second you try to intervene, she drops the sock because, I don't know, a single leaf just blew past the glass door.
Right. Total distraction.
Then she abandons the leaf because a bird landed on the fence outside. So she bounces over, starts mouthing the sleeve of your robe, and then, completely without warning, she just collapses onto the floor and falls deeply asleep.
Like someone just pulled the plug from the wall.
Yes. But then, an hour later, you take her out into the yard, and that same goofy, bouncing puppy catches a scent drifting across the grass.
And everything shifts.
Instantly. For a split second, the bounce completely disappears. Her head drops down, her tail lifts up, and she goes perfectly, rigidly still.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch. You're looking at a baby animal that hasn't learned a single formal command yet, but the genetic blueprint is just already running.
It's wild.
It is. You can see the working athlete shining right through all that puppy silliness.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are unpacking a really comprehensive developmental guide on raising a German Shorthaired Pointer, or GSP, puppy.
And if you're listening to this, you likely already know the immense potential of this breed.
For sure. So our mission today is to extract the most crucial insights from our sources on how you actually shape this high-energy working breed without breaking its body or its mind in the process. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
The best way I could think to describe this puppy phase is by comparing it to, like, a high-performance sports car.
Oh, I like that.
Right, so you've been handed this incredible world-class V8 engine. The blueprint of the elite athlete is already fully running, but the brakes and the steering wheel haven't actually been installed yet.
That is a perfect analogy. And because that engine is revving so loudly, owners tend to fall into two major polar opposite traps. Well, on one side, you have owners treating the puppy like a fragile glass-like, assuming she's just too delicate to challenge or train.
Right.
But then on the other side, you have owners treating the puppy like a finished adult athlete. They see all that boundless energy and just assume she can run hard, handle whatever physical exertion they throw at her, and somehow have the focus of a mature dog.
Yeah, let's start with that second trap, because honestly, it seems the most dangerous.
It really is.
If you have a puppy that looks like it can run for miles,
Yeah.
what is actually happening under the hood when we treat them like a finished athlete?
Well, the physical damage can actually be permanent. A puppy looks fast and coordinated, but underneath the skin, their skeleton is entirely unfinished.
Unfinished how? Like literally.
Literally. The growth plates, which are these areas of tissue near the ends of long bones that dictate future bone length and shape, they are still just soft cartilage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they haven't calcified into solid bone yet.
So they are structurally squishy, for lack of a better term.
Squishy is pretty accurate, actually. And because it's soft tissue, repetitive impact literally crushes those developing cells.
Oh, that's terrible.
It is. This is why forced exercise is a massive red flag. When a dog is, say, on a leash running next to you on concrete or chasing a ball 50 times in a row, they aren't regulating their own bodies.
They just want to keep going.
Exactly. The breed's intense drive will make them push right past pain and fatigue, and a developing body simply cannot handle that repetitive, jarring impact.
So that basically rules out jogging and marathon fetch sessions.
Absolutely.
What should an owner actually be doing with them physically then?
You swap out forced exercise for self-regulated activities. So free play in the backyard, gentle exploration, short walks where the puppy dictates the pace, and lots of sniffing time.
Sniffing time is huge.
Huge. And if they get tired during free play, they'll just naturally lie down. The philosophy shift here is critical. You are not exercising this puppy to tire them out for today. You are building their joints for tomorrow's soundness.
Right, building for the future. So when can they actually run?
Mature running and serial hiking must wait for a veterinarian's approval. That's usually after a year or more, when those growth plates finally close.
Okay, I hear the science on the growth plates, but I have to push back a bit on the reality of living with one of these dogs.
Fair enough.
If you have a GSP puppy vibrating with buzzing energy in your living room, restricting their running feels a bit like trying to put a cork in an active volcano.
Oh, I know the feeling.
Right. If I don't run this dog hard, Aren't they just going to, like, dismantle my drywall? How is under-exercising not just as dangerous?
Well, under-exercising will definitely cost you your drywall. I won't argue with that.
Good to know.
But the assumption that more physical motion is the only answer to a wild puppy is a massive trap. When a working breed acts frantic, the answer isn't always a longer walk. The surprising answer is stopping.
Stopping. But an overtired GSP doesn't look sleepy.
Not at all.
They do not get calmer when they are exhausted.
Yep.
They get like frantic zoomies, they fight harder, they vocalize, and they completely lose the ability to settle down.
What's fascinating here is that we have to look at the neurology of what's happening. A working breed is genetically designed to hunt all day long.
Right, they're bred for stamina.
Right. So when their body gets fatigued, their brain doesn't just naturally power down like a normal dog. Instead, it pumps out stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline to keep them awake and moving.
Oh, wow. So they're chemically fighting their own exhaustion.
Precisely.
It's like an engine running hot without coolant. The movement gets faster and more erratic because the system is just flooding itself with adrenaline to keep the pistons firing.
Exactly. A GSP has to learn not only how to go, but how to stop. An off switch isn't a factory setting with this breed.
You actually have to teach a dog how to sleep.
You do. It is a neurological skill you have to build. This is where structured naps, predictable rest windows, and the positive use of a crate or a pen come into play. You literally have to force their nervous system to reset and clear out that cortisol.
I mean, it's exactly like a toddler fighting a nap.
Oh, 100%.
You think they need more playtime to burn off energy, but they actually just desperately need a designated off-switch routine imposed on them. So a calm rest space isn't restrictive, it's protective.
Exactly. It protects them from their own inability to shut down.
That makes so much sense.
And once you enforce those naps, that cortisol clears out. Then you have a rested brain that is primed and ready to learn. But, and this is a big but, with a breed this intelligent, that readiness is a double-edged sword.
Because they learn the bad stuff just as fast as the good stuff.
Oh, faster sometimes. GSPs are basically pattern matching machines. They learn at an astonishing rate, but they don't discriminate between what you intentionally teach them and what you accidentally teach them.
So if jumping up on you gets you to push them away and say no, they just learned that jumping initiates a fun wrestling match.
Exactly, and it gets rehearsed.
And if barking at the back door gets you to open it, barking becomes their official go-to strategy for door opening.
You got it. The puppy is always taking notes. Consistency really is the whole game. You can't let a behavior slide on a Tuesday and then punish it on a Wednesday.
So how do we actually structure training then? I mean, are we supposed to do rigid hour-long obedience blocks every day?
No, definitely not. Formal blocks usually just frustrate a puppy. Training needs to be short, functional, and woven right into your daily life.
Like while you're making coffee or whatever.
Exactly. You leverage their natural desires, you use food, play, praise, and most importantly, for this breed access to sniffing.
Right, because they're a pointing breed.
Yeah, a GSP experiences the world primarily through its nose. Allowing them to investigate a scent trail is often a far more powerful reward than a dry dog biscuit.
That's super interesting. Utilizing that scent drive seems vital for building what is arguably their most important safety system, which is recall.
Oh, recall is non-negotiable. It has to start incredibly early in really boring, low-distraction environments.
So not at the dog park.
Never start at the dog park. You build the neural pathway that says turning away from the environment and running to the human is the best thing in the world. And the golden rule here, never poison the cue.
Poison the cue. What does that mean?
It means if you call them to you and then immediately put them in the crate and leave, or say call them to you and yell at them for chewing a shoe, they do the math.
They realize coming to you means the fun stops, or they get in trouble.
Right. You have taught them that coming to you results in a negative outcome.
And I imagine building that adult reliability takes months. Just because a puppy trots across the living room carpet to get a piece of kibble does not mean they will come off a deer trail in the woods.
Not even close. Adult reliability is built very slowly against real-world distractions. And leash skills operate on the exact same logic.
Start them young.
You start leash training while they weigh 15 pounds because a mature GSP has an incredible opposition reflex.
Meaning what?
Meaning, if they feel pressure on the collar, their instinct is to pull harder against it. A 60-pound GSP leaning into a collar on a scent trail is a shoulder-dislocating physical problem for the owner.
Yeah, no thank you.
Right. So you reward them for checking in with you and walking near you long before they have the physical power to literally drag you down the street.
So what does this all mean for the listener then? I mean, are we basically under 2047 surveillance by our own puppy, constantly having to ensure we aren't accidentally rewarding the wrong thing?
I mean, in the early months, yes, pretty much.
Wow. Well, the reason that rock-solid recall and leash foundation are so critical brings us to the hardest part of the GSP blueprint, I think. And that's their deep-seated genetic instinct to chase and grab.
Yes, the prey drive.
It shows up so early. Birds, squirrels, rabbits,
Yeah.
honestly, just any fast movement.
And you have to realize chasing isn't just a fun activity for them. It is neurologically self-rewarding.
How so?
The act of stalking and chasing floods their brain with massive amounts of dopamine. It is highly addictive. So every single unmanaged chase reinforces that neural pathway, making the drive even stronger.
Which means management has to come before you can ever expect self-control. You need long lines and secure fences.
Yeah.
You physically prevent the rehearsal of the chase while you train them.
Absolutely.
And for households with cats, it means safe escape routes, keeping them separated, and making introductions incredibly slow.
Because a puppy's nose and eyes will lock onto a bird or a cat and ignore you before you've even finished saying their name. And that isn't defiance. No, that is heritage. The goal of training isn't to erase the instinct. You literally can't. The goal is to hack their reward system so that checking in with you feels just as good as chasing the squirrel.
That is such a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting, because that heritage doesn't just show up in the yard, though. It shows up indoors, specifically in their mouth.
The puppy bite.
Puppy biting with a GSP is notoriously intense.
It is, but we have to understand the difference between how a GSP interacts with the world versus, say, a herding breed.
Okay, how are they different?
Well, a herding dog controls its environment with its eyes and its motion. A gun dog controls its environment by picking it up and carrying it. Their jaws are essentially their hands.
Like a human baby.
Yeah.
A human infant touches everything to figure out what it is. A GSP puppy uses their mouth to explore the universe. They just need to learn that human limbs aren't equipment.
Exactly. Puppy biting is rarely actual aggression. It's teething, excitement, frustration, and overstimulation. So you redirect that mouth to appropriate toys, and you heavily reward gentle contact.
And I imagine rough housing is a bad idea.
You have to completely avoid it. Human hands and clothes should never be toys, and especially with kids. Kids shouldn't become accidental tug toys.
Though, if the biting seems unusually frantic, or they just won't stop despite naps and consistent redirection, the source material noted that ruling out physical discomfort with a vet is vital.
Oh, for sure. Teething actually hurts. Pain can dramatically lower a puppy's bite inhibition.
Right. Okay, so we've managed the joints, the sleep, the dopamine loops, and the mouth. The next step is taking this highly tuned nervous system out into the chaotic real world.
Time for socialization.
But that word gets thrown around a lot, right?
Hmm.
Usually meaning fast, overwhelming exposure to everything all at once.
Yeah, and that's a huge mistake. True socialization isn't about throwing them into chaos to see if they sink or swim. It is about building mental resilience and neutrality.
Neutrality.
Yeah. Good socialization doesn't create a dog that runs enthusiastically toward everything. It creates a dog that can think around everything. We don't want a dog pulling towards every loud truck or strange person. We want them to observe a chaotic environment, process the information, and look back to you without panicking or trying to chase it.
That neutrality is arguably most critical inside your own living room, too, because a GSP's enthusiasm can actually be dangerous around small children.
Definitely. A puppy can absolutely adore a child, but still bowl them flat or nip them in the face during an overexcited moment. The adult has to step in and manage the speed of that interaction.
And that resilience we're talking about, it also extends to being alone, right?
Yeah.
Because this is a very people-connected breed. They want to be with you. Calm separation has to be deliberately taught through tiny incremental practice absences, like you practice leaving the room for 30 seconds, then a minute, building up slowly.
Because if you just leave for 8 hours on day one, you risk creating severe hyperattachment and separation anxiety.
Which is a nightmare to undo.
It is. You have to watch for real panic-like excessive drooling or destruction specifically tied to being alone. That requires professional behavioral help, not just, buying a stronger crate.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I actually got stuck on a specific part of the environmental exposure guidelines in the guide. Water.
Ah, yes. Water.
We're talking about a breed famously known as a water dog. but the guidance says you have to gently introduce them to water, and that confidence isn't automatic.
No, it's not.
Wait, so even a breed famously known as a water dog needs to be taught how to swim confidently? That completely defies what most people assume about genetics just taking over. Why can't I just take them to a lake and let instinct take over?
Well, genetics gives them webbed toes and a water-resistant coat. It does not give them emotional regulation.
Oh, that makes sense.
The physical capability to swim is hardwired, but the confidence to do it is not. Tossing them in triggers panic and can actually create a lifelong phobia. You have to let them wade into shallow, warm water at their own pace.
And you also have to watch carefully for swimming fatigue, because swimming is exhausting for a puppy.
Very exhausting.
And a crucial mechanical detail from the source. You must dry their ears out afterwards. Those dropped, floppy ears trap moisture, creating a perfect, dark, warm environment for yeast and bacteria to grow into nasty ear infections.
Yes, and drying their ears ties directly into handling tolerance and grooming.
Right.
A GSP has a short, easy-to-maintain coat, sure, but puppyhood is when you build the foundation for handling. You are checking their ears, handling their paws, and looking for ticks, so that when they are an adult, they let you and the vet examine them without a fight.
That really is the through line for everything we've covered today. I mean, weight, growth, vaccines, training progress, recall milestones, biting, sleep schedules, water exposure, all of these moving parts are really just about tracking patterns.
Exactly.
A bad Tuesday does not mean you have a bad dog. But a pattern of behavior over 3 weeks tells you exactly where you need to adjust your training.
And if you want to keep track of all those patterns, organizing your dog's health records, routines, and medications using the Vital Pet app is highly recommended. We'll have a link to that in the description for you.
Yes, check that out. Also, a quick reminder. If you notice any sudden red flags, repeated vomiting, diarrhea that won't stop, sudden lethargy, limping, or breathing trouble, do not wait it out. Call your vet immediately.
Yeah, this deep dive is for educational purposes only. Always consult a veterinarian for any health concerns regarding your dog.
Looking ahead, once you have successfully protected their physical growth, directed that intense energy, and managed their instincts, what actually fuels this future athlete?
That's the next big question.
Right. So in our next deep dive, we are tackling the bowl. We'll explore the specific nutrition required for steady, lean growth and digestion.
But before we go, there is an underlying tension to everything we've discussed today.
What do you mean?
Well, we just spent this entire time talking about how an owner must spend puppyhood carefully managing, redirecting, and training away this dog's deepest genetic instincts to endlessly chase and hunt in a modern household setting.
Like, don't chase the cat, don't bite the sleeve, settle down on the rug.
Exactly. The question is, if we spend their entire early life overriding these hardwired behaviors, are we actually domesticating their wildness? Or are we just negotiating a very delicate, lifelong truce with it?
Wow. That really makes you rethink that 6 a.m. kitchen floor scenario.
It does.
The puppy sliding across the linoleum with your sock isn't just a nuisance. That's the wildness, the blueprint, waking up for the day, asking you what the mission is, and it's entirely up to you to give them an answer. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you on the next deep dive.